Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the pimp slap POD, Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike, money's killers, Mike even make the evening news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Buzz Sports Radio, you know we be pumping!
What up? What up? What up? Welcome on in. It's Last Call here, Wednesday, March 30th, 6 p.m. Pulse Sports Radio. You already know what we do out here. We go out there, we get them winners. Best spot to come to find last-minute lineup information. All the information as far as trends, angles, analysis, cash flow, money movement, how the books are reacting, and everything else to help you guys get paid tonight. If you're just getting in here, smash that thumbs up button for us. Show us support. Help us crack the code. That is this 6 p.m. market here. Trying to continue to grow this community. Trying to continue to grow the show up in this channel. And we need your guys' help. You like what you're getting? You cash and bets with us. You like the analysis, the information. Hell, if you're fading us, hit that thumbs up button. Let them know we're here. We're doing this thing on the regular. Here we go with another show. It's going to be a great night tonight. You guys know what the deal is here. We've got a tight NHL card, and you know what that means. That means we get cash. We find a way to navigate these small cards and come up with big bangers, and that's, in fact, what we're going to do. We've got college basketball firing off here, another play-in round for the big tournament. We've got NIT. We've got all kinds of things rolling around college hoops. Getting ready for the Thursday showdowns, and then Friday. Then we're off. Our weekend is rolling, so get those brackets going. Going to be some fun. And Wednesdays mean LJ from H-Town rolls down slabs and rolls his butt right on in here and gets it done with us tonight. It's going to be fun to introduce LJ. Bring them back here, players, props, sides, totals, breaking down everything that is the NBA for you guys here. We've got a nice big NBA card tonight. We're going to open it up. Why not? We got ourselves some nice cash last night, and that's what we do. When you go big, you keep rolling there. You got to keep it going. You can't play scared. If you're scared, you go to church. That's what our boys like to say there. Shout out to Dutch and the crew. I know that's the philosophy out there, and boy, oh boy, one sleep away from your boy being down there in Southtown 101. I'm excited to see the fellas, the crew, the community that we've been building here, working oh so hard this past number of years to continue to grow, and excited. Cocktails are going to be flying. Bets are going to be flying, live bets, horse racing. It's going to be a ton of fun. I cannot wait. It's so close now. I can almost feel it there. I'm seeing snow outside, so I'm ready to trade the snow in, and I'm ready to get some sun. I'm ready to get at least some 70. I don't care about the sun. Just want some 70 degrees. It's 30 degrees outside right now. It's enough. It's enough of this March weather already. But hey, look, this is the best time of March Madness here. On the doorstep for March Madness. It's going to be a ton of fun to see this weekend. And just how much cash can we make gambling with the boys and the crew down there at Southtown 101? So I'm fired up. I can't wait. Again, it's an early flight tomorrow, so there won't be a last call show. But we're going to have all kinds of live streams going on there. There's going to be shows galore. And rumor is, I've been invited back with Jimmy the Bag to do a little NHL capping on Friday. So I'm excited there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait there. I'm giddy. I'm excited about this whole thing. And we got to get through tonight first, though. Need to continue to build these bankrolls one day at a time, one bet at a time, and $1 at a time. So we got a lot of work to do. You guys already know the deal. We got to move fast. We got to keep that brisk pace. We got a lot to cover. And we got some college basketball games popping off at 6:40 p.m. So we're going to talk about that. Why wouldn't? Kicked ass last night. We got that Wagner spot. We got that Colorado spot. We'll get to the recap here momentarily, but you guys already know the deal. You're just getting out of work. You're trying to figure out what you're going to do for dinner. Go ahead. Spend a little time on it. You want to figure out your cocktail situation? Go ahead. Spend some time on it. But we'll help you figure out what you're going to get this cash with tonight there. That's what this show's all about. We've got the crew here. I know our guy LJ is going to be rolling. And, of course, our chat that's oh so sharp. You guys know the deal. 3 things we ask you to do here with Last Call, 6 p.m. Hit that thumbs up button. Help us support the cause, grow the channel. And, again, we've already kind of covered that base. It's so important that you guys do hit that thumbs up for us. It costs you nothing. It takes a second, and it helps us immensely. So first and foremost, hit that thumbs up button. Second, you're going to want to grab a pen and paper. Lots to write down tonight. We got NBA games popping off all throughout the evening, college basketball popping off all throughout the evening, and of course some NHL games as well. So not going to want to just write down what I share or what LJ here on the screen, but of course our chat, I mentioned it's so sharp, sharper by the day. And I love what we're building here. I love what you guys are doing. The messages back and forth, the afternoon messages. By the way, cash that turkey soccer play as given out on, I should say EuroLeague basketball play. Let me get it straight here. EuroLeague basketball play on a turkey as given out there with betting with Bouquet today. I had a lot of fun breaking down the card for college basketball with C-Mac and Jose Bouquet. And looking forward to meeting Jose in person there at the airport. Hopefully he's on time. That's the most important thing I ask for. Just don't leave me waiting. I don't like sitting on ice, and I don't like sitting at the airport. So no pressure, Jose. I know it's a big week for you. You got a lot going on, but I'm excited to see everybody down there. And hey, guys, the last thing, of course, put your plays in the chat. We want to recognize the effort you guys have put forth tonight. Everybody's working with the same goal in mind, and that is to get the cash out of the bookies' pockets and put it in our own. So very important to recognize what you guys have come to the conclusion with here to get this cash tonight. We're all working as one, looking at the same scoreboard, and that is our bankrolls here, trying to grow this thing again, show by show, day by day. So let's get rolling here. Let's see what's going in the chat. Appreciate it. There's our guy, Joe T. First one in there today, ready to rock and sharing his best bet there. He likes the App State Wake Forest over 147. And Joe T, I'm on that one, man. I love it. Love it when we align. We're united on that front there. I think this is going to be a score fest here. I think Wake Forest leads the pace, and I think App State keeps up with them, no doubt. They're scoring almost 80 points a game, so should be a lot of fun to watch that. Swizz is in the house. The Futon Bets is up here, and he's dropping his play in the chat there. Says Chet Holmgren over a half a block. Says, what's up, buddy? Let's get this cash, my guy. The Futon Bets. Juggler 23, you know he comes in with the wise guy moves for us there. He says they moved on the Thunder, the Suns, the Clippers, and the Kings last night. He's only going to go on the Thunder first half and full game. Huge, though. It's a big bet for our guy, Juggler 23. And there's my brother from another mother. Wine Time Sports says, Mikey Money, guy for this weekend. Oh, man, it's going to be fun. Can't wait. Wine Time. We're both getting in around the same time tomorrow, so that should be a lot of fun to see how this thing rolls out and just how much we can get into as far as the old liquor bottles are concerned. I can't not wait. Winner Circles in the house says, hey, yo. He's giving us his play there. He says, Dame Lillard, it's Dame time here. Over 25.5 points for Winners Circle out there. Coins in the house says, what up, Mike and chat? Let's have a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday. Let's go. Ronnie Lofton says, gentlemen, and Jay Peasy. You didn't know. He wrote the intro, and tell me I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. Some things, though, I'm so confident about, you just can't sway me. Best intro in the goddamn business here. Jay Peasy broke the mold when he wrote the intro for last call tonight. So we appreciate Jay Peasy. And Jay Peasy, shout out, man. Euro hoops, baby. Let's go. Smack them boys up first half and full game. So we'll take that cash and we'll move forward there. Brian Watson says, I hear there's always winners here. You know it, my guy. Julian Cesaro says, see you tomorrow, pimp. Man, Julian, I can't wait. It's going to be a ton of fun. And there's our guy, Jay Smooth 16. Smooth balls play of the day, helping you guys keep them smooth. And he's rolling with Boise State. You guys know it's paramount. These things stay smooth, and Jay Smooth's doing his best to help you get there. So Boise State money line for Jay Smooth. Subhuman Gaucho, what up, my guy? Julian says Colorado money line points says we'll miss the San Antonio vibes with the Pub Sports crew, but we'll be holding it down here in Vegas with my own crew flying in this weekend. That's going to be a ton of fun, Coin. Good for you, my guy. I hope you get that cash. Hope you get everything that Vegas has to offer. Food, drink, gambling, table games, and the nightlife, my guy. Have a great time. Be safe. Be careful. But go get that cash, my guy. Brian Watson says a lot of cappers on Colorado. Gerald Jones says, good evening, Pubber fam. Best bet for this guy here is Toronto. Team total under 110 for Gerald Jones. Subhuman Gaucho likes the wild money line. You know we're going to be talking about that game. Nick's in the house. He says, happy hump day, Mike. Let's finesse the books tonight, Nicky. Let's get it, my guy. Can't wait. Going to talk some sports galore tonight. Nasty Nate says, Wheels just hit the ground out there. He's ready to roll. Warm him up for me, Nasty Nate. I'm coming in hot. Morgan Spooner says Montana State, Colorado moneyline parlay plus 131. Ron Lofton likes the Nurkic over 22.5 points in rebounds. We know our guy LJ is going to be talking galore in this market tonight. Saturated says Celtics first half team total over 60.5. Pacers first half minus 5.5. The Thunder first half over 61.5. Halliburton over 10.5 assists. Ayton over 34.5 points and rebounds. Nurkic over 22.5 points and rebounds. Maxey over 28.5 points. And Sabonis, the triple-double. I took a little Sabonis triple-double myself, saturated. Guy does nothing but get them triple-doubles on the road. I'm going to throw that there on the big screen for you guys to take a note. This is why the pen and paper is so crucial there. Everyone's sharing these great looks. We appreciate all you guys out there. Tori Coker in the houses needs some rock-solid plays in the double NCAA, says saturated. And there's Kelsey up in the house, says, cheers, Mikey. Cheers, Kelsey. Let's go. Let's get this cash. Thank you for joining. Subhuman Gaucho says Michigan State money line for tomorrow. We're getting sneak peeks for tomorrow. Darius Moore. Whoa, nah, family. Let's get this paper. Gilberto Garcia says SA. I think that's San Antonio, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go. Darius Moore likes the Caps in the NHL. Ricky Bobby. Thanks for that EuroLeague cash, my guy, Ricky Bobby. I'm glad you cashed on that, dude. They blew him out. They busted him up. I mean, first half, full game. Got the job done for us. So, you know, if I'm dropping in a Euro basketball play, that you got to at least listen to it. At least keep an eye on it. Maybe get a little sprinkle on it there. JStone9 says Toronto first period puck line plus 160 in the NHL. Darius Moore, Bowling Green money line, UNLV under 140, and Abilene Christian money line for Darius Moore. And Dan Kelly says, hey, Mike, have fun in Texas. Bring the sun back. My God, man, you should see it. It's gray. It's gray. It's actually gray and white with a combination of solid flurries outside right now. Dan Kelly, I know you know. Living up there in the mountains there. David Dupp says, sup, Mike? Just getting ready to head home from Phoenix. Watch a lot of baseball. Reds still need pitching. Yeah, they do. But they've got hitting. So, you know, sometimes you can neutralize that if you could just keep a strong offensive game going. JStone9, sprinkle Toronto first period. Toronto regulation plus 265 for JStone9. And Juggler23 sharing a fun fact. Colorado, Boise State, both switching from Nike to Wilson basketballs tonight. I like the under 66.5. Where the hell did you come up with that one, Juggler23? That one's in the weeds, my guy. Love to see that kind of stuff, man. Thank you for sharing. And Dana Duff says Sycamore -7 tonight. Pissed they didn't make the tournament. We will talk about that game. Kelsey says wild tonight. I haven't bet anything yet. We'll talk about that one, Kelsey. And Darius Moore says great insight, Juggler20. Yeah, I mean that's a deep thought right there. That's a deep track there. You got to get into the weeds to find. You got to know the ball guy to get that kind of information out of there. Appreciate my guy sharing that with us. JStone9 says, throw us degenerates a bone. We know you'll be capping in the airport. Fuck yeah, it will be, man. I was actually just thinking about that as I was getting ready for the show. How's it all going to work out? But Talk Sports with JT says, Mikey, MCBB college basketball, Cincinnati -7.5 at -105. BT in there says, family. Well, you guys know the deal. Before we launch off, transparency is crucial to what we do here. We got to recap every day, good, bad, or ugly. And look, it's one of those fun days to recap. You know, we've got to go through it. We got to talk about it. We got to recognize what worked and what didn't work. You know, and as good as the NHL's been to us, could have been better last night. You know, we'll start this thing off here. Toronto, blasted by Philadelphia. Torts is playing them mind games. That's what Tortorella does. He's sitting Couturier. He's not going to talk about it. They're not going to have a captain, all this other nonsense going on. He's definitely got the mind trickery going there with Couturier, but they got the job done. Harrison comes through, makes a phenomenal effort. Philadelphia wins, Toronto loses. We took it out. Columbus under 6.5. Man, was it 13 seconds left and then 40 some odd seconds into overtime, just bang, bang. You know, it was like shit. And I was sitting there the whole time thinking like, are we going to sneak this thing through 3-2? 3-2, I'm watching the last minute. 45 seconds, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, and then bang, I'm like, and then you could just tell what was going to happen. So that sucked. That was 3 bad L's, but we did catch that New Jersey and the over 6.5. We gave it out here on the show. It was a plus 255 spot out there, so we'll take that money. That was good cash. Hopefully you got that with me. Vancouver was a push. Vancouver -1 scored. They ended up scoring, but, you know, Buffalo comes right back, and it's what was it, a 3-2 final. So, you know, then we get an L with Vegas. So shout out to Jimmy the Bag. He was on Vegas. But we did open up the show. You guys asked for my 2 favorite plays. It was Vancouver and Carolina. That was a plus 155 spot. So as bad as the NHL card worked out for us, because of the plus money attack, we still kept ourselves in the hunt to move on for the rest of the card. Mini sweep in college basketball. We got Wagner plus 3.5. Easy outright winner. Colorado State smoked them boys in Virginia. That was a nice little W for us. And then the NBA, little mini sweep there as well. Call it mini sweep because 3 games, 2 games. Look, it's not like we went 7-0 on the NBA, right? But that would be a sweep. We know our guy LJ is capable of doing that at any given time, but we're still studying here. We're still in training, but we did catch a mini sweep. We got the Houston over 226.5 cashed. New Orleans first half cashed. I know Kelsey was on the first half and the full game. No sweat for our girl Kelsey. And then Dallas under 236 was a little bit of a sweat, but we were able to get it done there. At one point, that total was like 261.5. I live bet it again. I was like, shit, I'm going to lose 236 and it's not going up to 260. Let me jump on that again. So I was able to get that cash. But hey, as it works out, that's the way the day goes. It was profitable. We made just over 5.5 units, I believe, on the day. So as bad as some of those hockey games worked out for us, our best sport, we still were able to clobber the books and build some cash. And that is how you stay in the hunt here, right? Didn't feel great taking those hockey L's early, but then the rest of the card worked out for us, and glory it was. So let's get into it. I know our guys ready to roll. I don't want to keep them on ice. We got a lot to cover in the NBA. Let's lace the skates up and let's take to the ice right now, the frozen pond, as they will, and talk about these two hockey games that I've got action in tonight here. We're going to open up the card via the NHL, as we do on the regular here with Last Call. It has been our most profitable sport, and we're going to run it back here tonight. We're going to look at this Toronto and Capitals game to open things up tonight on this evening. We've got Wall going back in goal for Toronto at 9-7-1. And then we've got Lindgren on the other side, 18-11-5. We got a 2.89 goals against average and a 91.1% save percentage for Wool. If Toronto's going to have life in the postseason, it's going to be because this guy steps it up, and right now he's been stepping out. We'll talk about that in a second. Lindgren on the other side, 2.59 goals against average and a 91.5% save percentage. Not too shabby. And they burned me the other day there, that Washington spot. We were on that under. They came through at the last second against Calgary for that 5-2 win. Took it right out of our pockets. But as we look forward here, we've got Wool definitely struggling as far as that goaltending is concerned. 4 goals allowed in each of his last 2 starts. He's rolling 88.1% in his last 3 games. He got an injury. He's come back. He's 1-2. He's trying to find his form, and Toronto's 0-1-1 in their last 2. But the Caps, low scoring as well, 2 goals or less in their last 5 games. The Caps had themselves a nice 3-game winning streak, but at some point you got to expect the goaltending to get a little sleepy, a little tired, a little tread worn off those tires. Lindgren's getting for his 4th straight start right now. He's a lot fewer than 2 goals in 4 of his last 6 games, and that's a 5-1 record. That's the best way to win games. Keep the puck out of the net, put some in on offense yourself, and that's what they've been doing. But we've got ourselves a little bit of an angle here in this game, and there's a couple spots that we're going to attack here. I was debating it. I was thinking about it. We're going to go for it. We're going to go for the glory again. It worked for us last night. We're going to roll again on this one here. First of all, I can respect what Washington's doing. And I know Toronto's on the short rest situation, but Toronto needs to step back up in the winning direction. They got to get their goaltending thing right now. And Washington's not necessarily scoring a ton of goals when it comes to their offense. So this could be that potential bounce back spot. We know that they put Samsonov in the goal last night for Toronto and took that L, and they can't want to do it again, right? They got to go out there. They got to stop this bleeding and continue to push forward. On the other side of things, when you look at the Capitals, 3 straight road wins in a row. But what's the hardest place to play after a 5-game road trip? Your first game back home. In fact, if you want to quantify it, home dogs off a road game are 1-24 against the spread, and they're getting busted up by 2.5 goals a spot out there if they're on a 2 or more game winning streak in a total that's more than 6. Definitely going to be a fade spot for us here with this Toronto Maple Leaf spot, and it's a -130. So it's a low juice spot for Toronto. You would suspect if they just got busted up that they would, maybe be in that dog roll. But the books, I think, are onto something here. We're going to jump in with Toronto. I respect what the Capitals have been doing. But the second play we're going to jump into here is going to be the under, you know what, I'm going to parlay them together here. I was going to go to the under 6.5, but we're not going that way. We're going for the big score here. We've got an under spot, back-to-back road games. So you play 2 games on the road. Now you're a home dog, have gone under 128 times to 90 of them over. And the average score we're seeing is 3 to 2.6. That's going to give us a full goal in the back pocket. So we've got the Maple Leafs. I expect the Maple Leafs to get the job done. Again, that returning back from the road trip. But I'm going to go with a little bit of a gamble here on this under 6.5. It's 225, plus 225. We cashed that one last night with the Devils. Maybe that's why I'm feeling a little punchy about it. But I think it's a great opportunity for us to capitalize here. Toronto -130 and the Toronto and the under 6.5 at plus 225 out there. Let's get it rolling. There's our guy, Dabby Cab in the house. Says, what up, homies? And Zertucci says, Cap, 6 game in 10 days. Man, that boy's got to be getting tired. That's got to lead to some tired offense as well. Gee, I think that's definitely got to be the thing to consider there. So if you Gaucho says, like that look on the Leafs game from Jay Stone. And Ron Lofton says, tomorrow is the start of the best weekend in sports. March Madness, baby. Let's go. Gonzo's in the house says, what up, Mike? Waiting for everyone in San Antonio. I can't wait to get after it. And there's Mel in the house. Mel, what's up, Mel? She says, Mike, we cashed 3 big puck lines last night on the Preds, Wild, and Kings. Let's get another tonight. Mel, I'll go a step further. I parlayed all 3 of those together. That was a huge score for me last night there to get that thing. So it was big. It was nice. And Kelsey says, I'm tempted about Toronto. I think it's a great spot. You know, like I said, I'm going after it with the under 6.5 as well. Full on keeping this brisk pace. Game number 2. For full disclosure, I'm not messing with this Dallas game. I suspect this game goes under. I know everybody says it's over. I saw some strong trends. In fact, I think it was do I still have it up? No, I don't. I think it was a 14-0 spot to Dallas on the over. But I just can't get there. I think Arizona's going to be struggling right now. We know that they've got Ingram in goal as well, and Ottinger for the Dallas Stars side of things. Probably goes over. I'm not touching it. I'm staying off that game. But game number 2, and you guys know already where we're going here. We got the Minnesota Wild. We got the LA Kings. We got Marc-Andre Fleury with rest, by the way. Sat that last game. He's 16-11-4. And then we've got David Red Light Rittich, 10-5-3. Kind of starting to come back to terms with being an AHL goaltender. He started out the season red hot, and he has nothing but struggled here as of late. Now, when we look at these goaltenders, 2.67 with a 90.5% save percentage for Marc-Andre Fleury, 2.29 and a 91.6% save percentage for Rittich. Certainly some interesting things happening there in LA, trying to figure it out. But look, there's a lot we can talk about with this game. You want to talk about Fleury being on rest, fifth start in 6 games. He's been playing phenomenal, though. Hard to consider old man time has found a way to wind back the clock. It must be avocado ice cream with Tom Brady, but 3 or less goals in 7 straight games. You know how you win games. You keep the puck out of the net. That's a 5-1-1. Minnesota has won 4 of their last 5, and they're scoring. They're 18th in the NHL in scoring with a 3.07 goals for average out there. Great spot for us in this one here. We already talked about the Kings. All right, the Kings. Not going to tell you how they're the worst team in the NHL when they're on the second leg of a back-to-back. We already know that. We already circled that play on Saturday, and we circled it again today. But let's talk about Minnesota. When you're an away dog, your opponent won by 3 or more goals to a losing team, ergo LA Kings dumping the truck, blowing the load last night, and you're sitting there with no rest. 17-2 in that spot, says Minnesota Wild. It's a plus 130 angle, and the margin is plus 1.32 out there. You can certainly go out and take advantage of Minnesota. Shit, you could probably even get Minnesota -1. We're going to keep it clean, though. We're going to go with Minnesota. We're going to take the plus 130 money line. It's also a 7-12 angle to the under. Definitely suggests that that team that just scored a ton, that just dumped the truck, finds trouble getting traction in the next game out there. So the Minnesota Wild will be the 3rd official play for the NHL card there. We've got Toronto Maple Leafs -130, the under and Toronto at plus 225, and the Minnesota Wild at plus 130. Let's see if we can't just fuck around and find out how to turn 3 units into 5. That's what we're doing tonight in the NHL. And onward and upward. I told you we got to keep this brisk pace. We've got college basketball popping off momentarily, and we got our guy, the big dog, ready to eat backstage. We got to feed this guy, and he's going to feed us, so we can't let him wait back there too long here. Let's start this thing off, though. 6:40 p.m. College hoops, play-in game. It's go time for Grambling State and Montana State. And look, you guys have heard me from last call. We've been all over this Montana State team. We celebrated that run with the best of them from Jimmy the Bag Show on through last call. We caught some plus 250 money lines, some plus 300 money lines, some live spots for Montana State as well. I want to jump into Montana State tonight, but ultimately what I looked at for this game here is if you watch the way Montana State's been playing, right? They'll play defense. They'll D up with everybody. That's fine. They can do that. but they shoot the three ball well, and they have a tremendous coaching advantage. As I dug deeper into what's happening on the coaching front, this guy's in his first year, and he's done nothing but win everywhere he goes. D3 program, 85% winning. D2 program, 80% winning records. Now he's in the D1 out here, and I think he's got the right pedigree, the right makeup, the right tricks up his sleeve to figure out how to get it done. But what I like most is them boys aren't afraid to shoot that three ball. You look at that last game against Montana, they're 6.5-point dogs. They put up an 85 spot. They busted them up. Now, they did let 70 up there, but we talked about this Montana State team. They can care about playing defense. They just want to go out there and out-hoop your asses, and that they have done. Then we look at the other side with Grambling State. You know, that's a team that has been putting up offense. They got 60 against Bethune-Cookman, 65 against Bethune-Cookman, and then 75 for the win against Texas Southern. They've earned their opportunity here, but I'm going to go to this over here. Look, Montana State, 7-0 to the over since December when they're off a win as an underdog. It's the margin that feeds us, and this margin in those spots is 27.2 points per game. They're smoking the totals in this thing by 30 points. Now, every angle I looked at said, even if there was something that talked about the under, the average points these teams were scoring is still over 140, giving us a margin of 7. Ultimately, I love Montana State to get this job done, but I had to roll in with this total. And let me just line shop and see exactly what we have right now. 133.5 still, minus 110. FanDuel's hanging the 133.5 at minus 110. Look, if you can only get 134s or 134.5s or even 135s, the margin is 27 points a game. Doesn't matter. I mean, you could probably take it up to 140. Any higher than 138, you're playing with fire here. But good news is it's popping off in about 15 minutes. So you should be able to lock in 133.5s, 134s, all the way up to 135s. And I think we get it done. Patrick Burns says, I laid the 4.5 with Montana State. Not upset with that whatsoever. But we got to keep it rolling, you guys. We've got another 7 o'clock start. This one via the NIT. I talked about this earlier on Betting with Bouquet, and we're going to roll it back here tonight. That's how much I like this play. I try to be different. I try to come up. I try to dig deep through the afternoon into the evening to find different angles and different ways to attack the card. But every way I look just comes back to this SMU Indiana State game, and I'm going to jump in on this one. I'll share it with you guys right now. We've got SMU opens at plus 7.5. 51% of the bets and 62% of the cash have taken SMU, yet it's moved to half a point. We've got plus 8s out there. On the other side of things with the total, looks like there's scoring expected. 67% of the bets and 67% of the cash like this game going over the number, and it's gone up 6.5 points from the original go. Not a ton to talk about in this game. Let's talk about SMU. Started off the year strong. Got to the middle of conference play, playing like shit. And they're allowing points, 74 points or more in 8 straight games. You got an Indiana State team that is pissed off right now, especially after watching Virginia struggle yesterday. These guys feel slighted. They've got that giant chip on their shoulder. And we've talked about this before. The bounce back spot where we see a team that's trying to bounce back after a loss. They lost to Drake, Indiana State. They could have controlled their own destiny. They didn't get it done. It was 84-80 loss to that Drake team. But the thing about the NIT in this early rounds is that they're at home. The bounce back play is very much in play right now. And then if you look at this SMU team, they're 1-4 in their last 5. Their only win out there against East Carolina. In fact, SMU kind of checked out after they beat Memphis about 9 games back, and they just haven't been able to get it restarted again. I do suspect with this number, it's kind of got a little interesting movement to it here. We're seeing some numbers where I think the back door is probably open. I expect Indiana State to win in advance. And hell, I think Indiana State's probably one of those teams that gets the NIT done at the end of the day. But for me here, I'm looking at this thing. It's moved to 3.5s now. It's a little juicy at minus 120. But I'm rocking this first half. I said this earlier today. This game profile is incredibly similar to me as that Iowa game did last night. I jumped in on that Iowa State. In fact, it was the same. Iowa. I jumped in on that Iowa game last night, and it cashed easy for us. The second half got shrunken, though, and then they kind of busted it back open and won by 10. So I suspect in this case, though, SMU, the AAC, and the way those guys play, if it does get shrunken, it's going to probably be a 3 or 4 point type of game. But I want this first half. I want the bounce back. I want Indiana State to go out there and get it done. It's minus 3.5, and it's minus 120. So you want to get the 4. That's on you. I'm going to take the 3.5. I'm not going to pay that extra 10, or I'll pay the extra 10 cents not to get the push. I think they easily get the job done. And let's go through our last game here. College hoops. It's the big one. Everyone's talking about it. And then we're going to bring in the big gun himself, the hired assassin in the NBA here for our show on Wednesdays, Last Call Extraordinaire, LJ from H-Town. Before we get there, though, last game we've got in front of us, 9 p.m. Eastern. 9:10 p.m. Eastern, technically. We've got Colorado. We've got Boise State. Oh, yeah, the big one. We've got 77% of the bets, but 91% of the cash on Colorado State. The line's starting to scream. It's gone from 2 to 2.5 to 3s, and we're starting to see 3.5s out there as well. Very interesting number there on this side of things. When we look at the total, it's moved up. It's moved up 3 points, 67% of the bets and 55% of the cash on the over. This thing's moved so much towards the over. I would contemplate jumping in on this under, but the spot for me is Colorado. I've been saying this with these boys, predominantly for the last 2 weeks here. I thought they were going to go out there and they got beaten up by Oregon. No disrespect. Oregon flipped the switch and was able to go out there and handle what was going on there with Arizona. They were down 10 in the first half. They flipped the switch in the second half. They won the game by 10, and they were getting 11. So full 21-point swing of occasions there. But, I talked to you guys about the under. Just for edification here or clarification around this under, Boise State isn't an 8-0 to the under spot when they're facing Pac-12 teams, and they're not a 10-point or bigger dog on a total that's under 147. So this one very much stereotypically fits that under for this Boise State spot, but I'm jumping in on Colorado. I don't care. I think this is a team that I expect Colorado not just to win this round. I think Colorado goes, maybe to the Elite Eight in this case. So I do see fucking 3s are now juiced up now, minus 115s. 3.5s are minus 108s. I'll take the 3.5 at minus 108. I'm not scared about it. I like the way this number is moving. I know it's getting kind of up there a little bit, but I still expect these guys to win this thing, and I expect them to win by probably 8 or 9 points. So minus 3.5 for me for Colorado is going to be the third official play for college hoops. We're attacking both them games in the play-in spot there. And Ross Pitt says Boise State plus 3.5 out there. Ross Pitts, good luck to you, my guy. And he likes SMU. What? Ross Pitts, why don't I just shut the F up? That's cool, though, man. Look, we're not always going to agree on the same things at the same time, but it's okay as long as I win. So we're going to play a little game of I win, and it starts tonight. So let's see how that goes, Ross Pitts. Julian Cesario says lines are totally different than what would be in the regular season. Can't trust it. Yeah, the lines are, these games are getting a ton of action. I mean, everybody from everywhere is all looking at these same games at the same way, and I'm going to lay the points, though, for this Colorado spot. I think it's okay. Kelsey says, Mike, what's the over-under on how many drinks Jimmy has had today? Shit. Oh, I saw him drinking a bucket of beers earlier today. I'm going to say he's probably pacing himself. It's early. I'm going to put the total at 7.5 because he's got to have recently just gotten there if he isn't there yet. So I'll say 7.5. I'll give him 3 beers in the airport, maybe a cocktail at the airport before he left, gives him 4. And then wheels down here, pacing himself. I'll give him 3. I'll give him 7.5. I'll take the under. Take the under 7.5, Kelsey. Great question. Julian Cesario says Colorado money line for 5 units. Brian Watson, isn't 4 college basketball tournaments too many to do those players care? Yeah, I think they do. I mean, it's situational. That's the tough part about the NIT is trying to figure out who actually does care out there. Patrick Burns says Buffalo. Julian Cesario says, LOL, Kelsey. I keep learning so much from listening to you guys. Thanks so much. She's going to take the over on the Jimmy cocktails out there. And Ricky Bobby says, is there still going to be a live show tonight that you know of, Mike? I don't know. I know I was talking to Dabby Cab about kind of the structure and the schedules that we have here with these Wednesdays. It's a difficult spot. There's a lot going on, and it's tough for me to jump from one to the other and then roll for a couple of hours on it. So I know I won't be involved tonight. I've got to get ready and get packed up, but we did just lose our guy. I don't know where he went, but he got pissed. He got pissed. I kept him on ice. Let's not leave him on ice anymore. He's back. He's ready to roll. You guys already know. It's LJ from the H, baby. LJ from GoTown is what he's been known to hear on Last Call. LJ, how are you?
What's going on, Mike? Happy Wednesday to you as usual. Looking to get some money in this NBA, and I see a couple plays that I jot down and see if we can get the people some money. So let's make it happen, my guy.
You are the man, LJ. We love hanging out with you on Wednesdays. You've been, you've been a blessing here with us, giving us these W's, giving us these props, giving us the combos and same game parlays. And I love the way you cap, man. You know, I love the trends, the angles, the player props.
Mhm.
I'm trying to come at you here with some similar numbers tonight here. We'll see if some of the spots I have and some of the spots you have can help us blend out an entire NBA card tonight. So I'm excited and
Okay.
I'm excited to roll with you down there at San Antonio, my guy. So should be a lot of fun.
Yes,
Get to
sir.
meet you in person, have a cocktail, and see where the night takes us. But let's go for this night tonight. We got to get Wednesday before we get to Thursday. And we're going to start off here. We've got a 7 o'clock. We've got two 7 o'clock NBA games. The first one opens up, and it's the Pacers and the Pistons, LJ. We open at 8.5. We're up to 11s now. Crazy. This number is shooting up like a cannon. 79% of the bets and 87% of the cash on the Pacers. Enough to move that line significantly. The question will be, has it moved too far? Then we've got 233.5s have moved up as well. The total's moving on up. 233.5s now, 235.5s. Reverse line movement alert. 64% of the bets and 64% of the cash on the under. And yet it's moved up 2 points to the over. You know, LJ, for the new ones that are just rocking with us here, we talk about the bets and the cash. We want to see the ticket handle. And the bets constitute, you know, parlays, teasers, every $5 better, $10 better. Not to unit shame anybody, but that's where the bets come from. Then we look at the cash, and that's typically where we see bigger bettors that aren't messing with parlays, that aren't messing with teasers. They're just coming in with a backpack full of cash, and they're saying, you know, give me the Pacers at -9.5. And the book said in this case, holy shit, yeah, we'll take your action, but we got to move that line to 11 to try to balance it out and draw action the other way. So we try to look at that not as where the cash is, but we use it as a measuring stick to say, how are the books reacting, you know, to that cash? And everybody handles it a little bit different. It's not the end all be all, LJ, but we use it as a weather event. We want to see which way the wind is blowing, and we want to make sure that we're set up appropriately. So with that being said, have they moved this number enough to consider the Pistons at +11 in this case? What do you think?
No, I believe the Pacers still cover just because of the situation that they're in. First of all, they're 10-4 against the spread versus the division, number one. Number two, they're coming off a loss. So also, they are the road favorite off a loss, going on a home team as a dog. So those situations really line up in the systems to where I do my numbers, and this is a Pacer spot, man. I didn't play it just because I'm scared they're going to land right there on it, possibly miss it by 1 point. You know, Detroit's feisty. You know, they could play hard to the end for the most part, try not to get embarrassed too much. So I can see them doing that. So I was hesitant on the spread. I lean heavy to the under 233 just because the Pacers 13-4 to the under last 17, and Detroit's 20-14 to the under at home. And they're only averaging around like 96 points their last 3 games. So they struggle to score 100 points. So if heavy lean to the under. But I've already jumped on the prop for his Halliburton over 10.5 assists. I got it at -130. I know it's juice, but you know, sometimes the juice is worth the squeeze. You know, I always say that just because he's averaging 11. He's had 11 plus 5 out of his last 7 games. And, you know, Indiana's played Detroit 3 times already. In those games, he's had 10 assists, 16 assists, 13 assists. So I believe he cashes that 11 assists easily. And I'm just going to ride with that for now. If I jump on anything, I'll let you know before the show ends. But possibly I'm just probably going to stick to that prop. Just because I know the Pacers will win, but how motivated are they to cover the spread? That's why I say I lean more to the under just because of how both teams have been playing. But official, Halliburton over 10.5 assists, -130.
Yeah, I can get you a -110 on that. So we'll give you the
Okay.
best numbers in the
That's even
NFL
better.
for tracking purposes. You know, the thing with this one here, you know, we look at this spot, you know, pretty straightforward opportunity, kind of what you would expect. At least I think. You know, what does the team do after they take a home loss? They've got some rest and they gear up for a road trip. Well, they win and they cover, and they do it a lot. 55 wins, 18 losses, 2 pushes in those spots out there. It's kind of that, you know what, we got to get our heads and our asses wired together. We're about to go on the road, and let's do damage. Speaking of doing damage, shout out to our guy, Razor Sharp Picks, gifting a Pub Sports Radio membership. Looking forward to meeting my guy, Razor Sharp, and celebrating that is the friendship that we built here and getting this cash together, working. Love the horse streams with this guy out there, and he's helping us grow the community one member at a time. The guy has been successful capping them ponies. I can't wait to learn. I'm looking to learn from this guy and how he puts together them pick fives out there. But he's gifted a membership building this community. He says, shout out to everyone. Let's have a weekend out there, our guy, Razor Sharp. Appreciate you, my guy, and look, the thing I do when I try to look at these games is, I'm not interested in laying 10s, 11s, and 12s. I will where it makes sense, but try to find a way to turn it into plus money. And, I'm kind of inspired by your Luka and Dallas plays that you were cashing with us like crazy. I went to Siakam. I got his over 7.5 rebounds in the Pacers, and I got it at plus 105. So it's a little same game parlay action. And the thought there was, we took Siakam on Monday from the sesh. We talked about that as part of the prop parlay that you hit with your Bam Adebayo over 10.5 rebounds, I believe it was. And I hit with Siakam. Siakam smashed that thing, man. He got it in the third quarter. He got it like 2 minutes into the third quarter, too. So, so I expect him to keep rolling. Actually, I think he got it right by halftime, if I'm not mistaken. He's also got 4 double-doubles this month. So I'm not going to get too cute with the double-doubles and the points. I'm kind of with you. I don't like to get involved when there's the point process out there. Like, we're looking at unders. I try to stay away from getting involved with player props. If you were interested, the double-double is plus 240 for this guy. But I parlay the two together. Same game parlay, Siakam over 7.5 rebounds, and the Pacers money line plus 105. Push those points right out the door. I don't need them. I'm not going to lay them. I just need the Pacers to win this game. I don't care by how many points, what their margin of victory is. And that'll give us a little plus 105 spot, LJ.
I like it. I had his point circled, minus 120, 21.5. But, I just, like you say, we don't like to double dip too much. That's kind of losing money that way trying to.
Well, shit, if you like his points, then I might have to go back and double this son of a bitch because, it's a lot for him to get over that number to get to 10. But, all right, I'm going to make an ear note of that. Let's move on to this next game. We've got the Heat and the the Heat and the Cavaliers. It got me all excited thinking about this spot here. Let's talk about this Miami Heat and the Cleveland Cavaliers game. We had a line that opened at plus 2.5. We have 39% of the bets and 99% of the cash in the Cavaliers. Of course, we know your guy from Monday, Bam Bam, out of this game here tonight. He has been ruled out, and the numbers moved accordingly. So tons of cash coming in on this Cavs side of things. But the bets-wise, the market likes the Miami Heat, but the cash likes this Cavalier spot. And the total has kind of been flipping around. Started at 204.5. It's moved up to 206.5 out there. 53% of the bets and 74% of the cash on the over in this game, LJ. You can see on the screen where I'm attacking this one. I'll tell you a little bit about it in a minute, but tell us, what do you think? How does this game play out? Does Bam play that much of a factor? I mean, you got to believe that a rebounding prowess like this guy opens up secondary chances for scoring in the Cavaliers. And, then you look at this lineup for the Heat. Josh Richardson, Kevin Love, Bam Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, all out at last call for this game. And then on the Cavs side, we know Donovan Mitchell's out. Ty Jerome, Dean Wade, Maxi Strus is going to be officially out tonight, and Evan Mobley as well. So it's kind of a mash unit of offense out there and defense for that matter. How do you think this game plays out?
I believe I would initially get to the under, but 205 is low. If it was around like 215, maybe 213, I would be more confident in it. But I can see why it's low. They have a lot of issues with injuries, both teams. So, who are you going to depend on to score this game? And that's pretty much what you're doing. It's like a coin flip, in my opinion. So, 1-800-GAMBLER number is pretty much this game right here, in my opinion. But like I said, the under still could possibly hit simply because the Cavs, 6-4 to the under in their last 10 games. And Miami is 27-9 to the under on the road, 25-6 to the under their last 31 games. So if you want to trust the under 205, I'm not mad at you. I just can't do it just because I have a number that's set to where I can't go under that number. Like I said, if it was 214, 215, I would really strongly consider it. But 205 is too much. And like I said, I stayed away from it. I didn't take any props because I just don't know who's going to have the advantage. It's just too many injuries. I mean, Jimmy Butler maybe, but, like I said, that's a coin flip. So I just stayed off.
I'm just taking a step back here because great note from our guy in the chat, Ricky Bobby, says there is some movement on these numbers. It's a plus 108 now for Siakam over 7.5 rebounds and the Pacers to win from my plus 105. That's okay. I still expect him to win. I mean, if Detroit comes out there and wins this game, right, then fuck it, I'll take the loss because
I seriously doubt it.
Yeah, but I'll take it. I'll take the plus 108 though for tracking purposes as we roll on. And hey, as far as this game's concerned, I'm on the Cleveland side of things here, and this was pre the injury news, pre any of the updates on who was in or who was out. We talked all season about Cleveland's been beat up and battered, where it doesn't make a difference, who's playing for these guys. They just find a way to roll. Coming back off of 3 straight road games there, it was a pretty good road performance though. 2-1. They beat up the Pelicans in New Orleans as 5.5-point dogs. They won by 21 points. Huge win for them boys in that spot there. That's a tough travel spot for the Pelicans too. I get it, but they lost at Houston. Then they went up and they beat the Pacers again as dogs. So, keep hating on this team. And now here they are on the other side of things, as in the favorite role, albeit it's a slight favorite. The spot for me was, when you're playing a non-divisional team in the East, you're off and under and you're the home favorite. You're 59-23 against the spread. You've won 8 of the last 10 spots in that situation. And you're up over 30 units if you played that thing blindly all season. So kind of that situation where you're the home favorite. We just talked about the lineup changes and the injuries there. I'm jumping in on Cleveland. Mm-hmm. I took the money line. I know it's the 1-800 gambler game, but those are the games I like, and now it's minus, so it's starting to move a little bit against. The number's not as great as it was, but I still would. If you're juice adverse, if you want to go put safe in this thing, then lay the number. For me, minus 130, that's like an average hockey number for me. So I'm not against that number, but I think Cleveland gets the job done here. They're on home. They're trying to bounce back and keep it rolling after that little roadie. I think it's a great spot for them, especially against a banged-up Miami team. Who's going to play defense for Miami is the question I have, and I think that total is super low. It's probably low for a reason, but let's go on. I know you got some action, and it's so refreshing to have you be involved in these big battles now. I know last year, just a season ago, LJ was not getting involved in the Boston Celtics, but he's been involved in damn near every one of them this year. The Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics, with an interesting number. We know Giannis is out of this game. The line opened at minus 5.5. Man, this thing shot up like a Scud missile. It's up to 11s now in some spots, with 82% of the bets and 98% of the cash on the Celtics. The number at 222.5, the total, the back number, 77% of the bets, but only 37% of the cash on the total. And it's sitting at 226.5 now in some books out there. So maybe we have a little pros versus Joes here on the total, where the public thinks this thing goes over the number. The Celtics have been dominant in scoring points, but the professionals, the bigger bettors anyways, believe this is going to be a lower total game. LJ, take it away.
Yeah, you got it right there, Mike. I am all on Boston first half. I mean, why jump off the train? Number 1 team in the NBA in the first half against the spread. At home, 20-11 against the spread, first half at home, plus 8.9 first home point margin. So they're pretty much jumping on teams fast, for the most part. And, they're rested, of course. And, everybody knows the narrative. They lost by 30-plus points the last time they played Milwaukee. So I believe Boston had this circled on the calendar. And unfortunately, Giannis isn't playing, but we know how these NBA players do now. They don't want to, play every game. They don't want to give y'all everything at once. They save it for the playoffs. If we meet up in the playoffs, then you can see that matchup. But regular season, no, we're not going to give y'all that. So we already got Damian Lillard. He's a star. We're not going to put 2 stars on the court on a nationally televised game in the regular season. No, we're not doing that. So unfortunately, that happens, but you always can still find money. Like I say, no matter what the situation is, you always can get money. So we're going to get money in the first half, ladies and gentlemen. Like I just mentioned, Boston first half. Bucks 9-23 against the spread in the first half on the road. They play horrible in this situation. And not only that, coming off a game where they shot 58% from the 3-point line, but they're ranked 23rd in field goal percentage on the road. So that lets me know they could play completely different at home than they do on the road, and they're running into probably the best team in the East. So first half -6, and I'm on a couple of props like you just mentioned. I like to parlay the prop with the win. So Jason Tatum, 6+ assists, and Boston to win, plus 119. He's had 6+ assists, 4 out of his last six games. And I also have Jaylen Brown, 25+ points, and Boston to win at plus 119 as well, because he's had 27 points, 6 out of his last 7 games. So I know that Drew's out. I don't mind that. Long as Jaylen Brown is playing is the reason why I'm jumping in this game because he is pretty much the leading scorer. He likes to show out. He got his money, so he wants to show that he's worth every million of that 300 million. So trust Jaylen Brown tonight. And my last one, I'll parlay Jaylen Brown's 25 plus points and Tatum's plus 5 assists at plus 198. So those are my 3 plays right there as far as the props. And I'm all on Boston first half minus the. I got it at 6. So now you have it at 6.5, but I still trust it. They're probably going to be up by double digits anyway. So,
LJ, that last one you said was Brown 25 plus points and Tatum 5 plus assists.
Yes, 25 plus points plus 198.
Fucking A, LJ. I love you coming in here swinging the big guns, my guy. Let's go. I'll tell you, there's another spot there for just further belief, right? So everyone talks about like the star player factor. And look, the star player factor, you know, if you're new to this thing here, you tend to back the team the first game their star player's out. Well, that was last game. So now after that first game, we're not in that star player factor anymore. So, you know, all bets are off in that spot. But, you know, as far as the numbers are concerned, the Bucks 0-23 against the spread. They're getting nuked. 12, almost 13 points a game against the spread out there. They're losing by when they're a dog off a game as a dog. So big opportunity there. I mean, that just speaks right to the heart of this. You know, you've got no Giannis, dog off the dog, and they've just that's a Buck specific trend. That's not an NBA one. And again, that margin is just so goddamn frightening. 13 points. They should get nuked by and then some. I'm going to tell you on that Bucks first half spot there. I think that's a great look.
That is incredible. 0-23 off a game where they were a dog. That's what you just said?
Right. They're a dog or a small favorite, and they're off a game that they were a dog. They're 0-23 against the spread, and they're losing by 13 points a game. They're getting nuked. It's not even close. And now you got no Giannis. How are they going to close the gap on that? That's your record says who you are, and numbers don't lie. And you can believe all you want, and these numbers are getting big. And I get it, like this Boston number and everything else, but Boston should absolutely put the boots to ass on these boys tonight. Shout out to Nasty Nate. He's going to enjoy himself tonight, I think, watching this game.
Oh, definitely.
Then Dan Kelly says that second game, the star is out, a no-star player fatigue play. I mean, look, somebody's going to have to step up from the bench to get it done. Razor says Mike would bet on which nostril has more boogies in it if he could get a line on it. Yeah, you know what? I probably would. Don't judge me by my degenerate behavior. Judge me based on my wins. Let's roll on to Sacramento Kings and the Toronto Raptors spot here. 7:30 Eastern, Sacramento Kings. This is another one. This man out there, I don't know about you, but the last 3 days in the NBA, the numbers have gotten crazy. And I don't know if it's because there's less action as a reflection of more action being involved in college basketball. I don't know if that's a part of it, but these fucking numbers, 7.5, now 11.5. 46% of the bet, 95% of the cash on the Sacramento Kings, minus 11.5. It's moved 4 points. Then we've got the total. The total's dropping. It started at 234. 59% of the bets and 81% of the cash on the over. Yet this number has dropped now. I guess there's one book that's kind of got an overreaction. Looks like it's bouncing back. So a little bit of reverse movement on this total. The bigger bettors coming in saying this game goes over, LJ. How say you?
I couldn't get to a side in this game because I don't know if the Kings care about covering this big spread. You know, I just like, you know, Toronto, they don't have players in their lineup, you know, so Sabonis should eat tonight for the most part in the paint. You know, like who's going to defend him? Like this is just a mismatch out of this world. So if the Kings going to do damage, I figure they're going to do it early, you know, and who's to say Toronto doesn't cover the spread at the end of the game? You know, that's just those things you're always scared of when it comes to blowouts, you know, because they can let up in the fourth quarter. But like I said, I'm just going to stick to the Sabonis props because he's been killing it for the most part. He leads the league in rebounds. Now, they have it at over 15.5. You know, he hit that 7 out of his last 9 games, but is he going to be there long enough to get 16 rebounds? You know, he may get like 12, 13. It falls short. You know, his 21 points, he's hit 3 out of his last 6 games, but Is he going to get 20 points? I don't know. I dug in, and I think I trust the assists more, Mike, because it's at over 7.5. He's had that 5 out of his last 7 games, and he's averaging 8 assists on the road. And he leads power forwards in the NBA in assists. So I'd rather just trust that. Sabonis, A+ assists, Kings to win, and -115. And just get my money right there. He had 11 assists in the last game he played the Raptors. And mind you, he had a triple-double in that game as well. So I wouldn't be mad if you sprinkled the triple-double because he could get 12, 10, and 12. He doesn't have to get 20 points. He doesn't have to get 15 rebounds. He don't have to get assists. All he needs to do is get 10, 10, 10, and that's the triple-double. So it may line up in that. Who knows? But I'm trusting his assists. And, the PRA is at 45.5. He's hit that 4 out of his last 6 games. But like I said, I don't know if he's going to be in there long enough to get that number. And Toronto is allowing 6 out of the last 9 power forwards/centers, to average a 46 PRA. So if you trust he could be in there and Toronto can keep this game close in the second half and he has to stay in there, then yeah, he's going to get the number. But I just trust the assists will be there, A+, and I believe the Kings will win. And I took that at -115, and that's my play.
So you make it sound so simple. It's so clean the way that you break that thing down, and I fully agree. I mean, how much do they care about busting these guys up? There's some spots I wanted to get to. There was a spot that I looked at that was just kind of the Hail Mary, and it involved the Sabonis triple-double, the over in the game, and Gary Trent Jr. over 19.5 points. But the problem I ran into is, you're right, what happens if this thing's a 25-point, 30-point stomping going into that fourth quarter? And you're getting Sabonis' assist down there to a reasonable number that, that could very well happen. And he's dishing the ball around as he gets bored with scoring points. And I love the look. I think it's a great look. The number I had for Sabonis is his triple-double. 6 of the Kings' last 9 road games, this guy's gone out there and balled out with the triple-double. So that was sitting at around a +200. Not mad at anybody that wants to play it, but I'll tell you, I like the way you attacked it with the A+ assist in the Kings and -115. I mean, that's what we talked about with that Pacers game, and just trying to find an alternative way to play the game to make some cash on it. And I think we've done just that. So I'll root you on with that action, and let's roll on. We've got the 8 p.m. game. We've got the Utah Jazz, the OKC Thunder. Thunder rolling -13s up to 16.5 now. Again, LJ, they're almost a 20 spot for this OKC Thunder team. 80% of the bets and 97% of the cash, like this OKC Thunder. Then we look at the total. 236.5 is dropped. 67% of the bets. We have no visibility into the cash, but we can kind of see that the tell is that the general consensus of betting is this thing dropping the total. And 232.5 are starting to see 231.5 in this game. I'll just keep it simple, LJ, on my side of things here. I went to the under in this game. I thought with the situation with these guys, with its two teams and the way things are playing, the bigger bets popping in on this thing. You look at the Utah Jazz, as much as they were an over team, that's at home, right? And even their last 2 games, back-to-back spots against Minnesota at home, they still ended up going under. They had 224.5 and 225.5. The OKC Thunder numbers have been pretty low. Miami, March 8th, 226.5. Memphis, 219.5. They did have a big number against the Pacers, 240.5. That's the Pacers. Then they kind of got right-sized again. Dallas at home, 233.5. And then Memphis again, 219.5. And my takeaway on that is they've been playing to an under pace, especially with a big number. It suggests that favorite's going to bust these guys up. And the fact that we've got the last 2 games in a row as overs for OKC Thunder means that we're probably getting an extra point or 2 in our corner for this total. And that's how I jumped in on it. But please weigh in on this game here. It's a big opportunity for this OKC Thunder. I don't know. You'll have to tell me, but I don't know if they've been lined this kind of number in the last 3 years. It seems like this number is just huge. Tell us how you're attacking.
Yeah, this number is huge. So I'm definitely not attacking the full game, but I wouldn't be surprised if they cover it just because they lost to this team last time they played them. So it's the same situation with Boston and Milwaukee. So I believe OKC is going to start early and often. So I'm just going to get in and I'm going to get out. First quarter, minus the 4.5. I see you got it at the 5. I trust it like that. Just because OKC's 12-3 against the spread in the first quarter at home versus the West in their last 15 games. 15-4 to the first quarter versus the West at home since November 4th. 21-13 in the first quarter against the spread overall, 6-4 against the spread in the first quarter at home their last 10. And OKC has won every first quarter versus the Jazz this season. So I trust that they're going to take care of business in the early part. Not to mention the Jazz, 3-7 against the spread in the first quarter on the road in their last 10 games, 13-20 against the spread in the first quarter on the road overall. So I don't think they have a chance coming out of the gate. Now, at the end of the game, who knows? They may stay in it, but I seriously doubt it because we all know Shea wants to get the MVP. So, they always cap his number at 30. But I see that they're playing with us now, Mike, because they got the number 30 plus points to OKC to win at minus 157. So they see that we've been jumping on that. So they're going to raise that number. And I love it. I love when the bookies pay attention to what people do. So the fact that they raised that number, I'm not going to take it. But I did a little digging, and I'd rather take Shea's assists just because Utah is allowing the second most assists to the guard position. And this is a divisional game. And I love the fact that stars love to play versus their division because they want to show you that we're the team that you have to go through. So the fact that this is the case and they lost to Utah the last game, I'm going to trust Shea Gilgeous to get his 7+ assists and OKC to win at plus 116. And I'm just going to get my money right there. Hopefully he distributes the ball and they can score. I believe they will score because he has Jalen Williams out there. He's putting up 20+ points. So I had him circled, but, I just rather stick to Shea and stick to the first quarter because I do believe they will storm them out in the first quarter, be up by 10 or 15 points in the second half, and cruise on the victory. So those are my two plays. OKC minus 4.5 first quarter. Shea, 7+ assists. OKC to win plus 116.
Sweet. Yeah, I did see some 4.5 still out there. So, line shop this, you guys, especially we've got a little bit of time. Who knows where this number is going to go? I can't imagine. I guess I shouldn't say it, but I can't imagine it's going to go higher. But, line shop, of course, make sure you guys get the best number. LJ still at 5. He's still good with a 5. We're starting to see some 5.5s in that first half. So, or first quarter. That's going to be a lot of points at that point. So just make sure you do your due diligence. That's, I'm not a rocket scientist here, but I know that's a lot of numbers. So
I wouldn't take it usually. I usually cap it at 2.5, maybe like a bucket or 3. But the fact that OKC plays so good in the first quarter at home and it's Utah, I have to take it because I want to get in and get out because the numbers are too big later on. So let's just trust they get that 5 and move on.
Look at Saturated bringing the goods too. He says OKC first half team total over 61.5.
I like that.
He says OKC covers these big numbers. They've got 3 days of rest. That's some great insight. And then he says the Jazz 26-42 in the first half against the spread. Juggler 23 says the Thunder should pimp slap them. Shout out to you guys, man. And Saturated says the Jazz missing too much scoring. So great insight from you guys in the chat. That's we love to hear that stuff there, and keep it coming. Chris Mack says Shea 7 assists last 10, 1 and 9. So bounce back spot for him. It sounds like Chris Mack. Sounds like a great bounce back. I mean, I love the comment about the division because I do believe teams are built within the division. And then kind of when they go outside, it's a different story. But yeah, you got to beat them guys. You got to show them that we're the guys here. We're the top of the trop, and you got to fight for. You got to, as Dabby Cab likes to say, you got to swing up. So let's swing up here. We do have a game at 10 p.m. Eastern. We've got the Grizzlies and we've got the Golden State Curries. This line opened at 10.5. It's at 11.5. We have 40% of the bets, but now we have 67% of the cash on the Memphis Grizzlies. And yet we have a point movement. We've got the number from 219.5 drops to 218.5. 33% of the bets and 92% of the cash say this is going to be a low-scoring game, LJ. I'll tell you, big number. Golden State in this big number is an interesting spot. As I was looking at this thing, we look at what Golden State's recent performance has been. Win one, lose one. Struggling to find that consistency. They win against the San Antonio Spurs. They're laying a 5 on the road. They win by 10. They go out there. They play Dallas 2 days later in Dallas. The short jump over. They're getting 8.5. They lose by 10. We know that there was some Curry factors in there with the rolled ankle. They go to the Lakers. They bust up the Lakers as 1.5-point dogs. They win 128-121 before going back home to start their home stance. and they lose as 6.5-point favorites to the New York Knicks, 119-112. Memphis has been covering big numbers. Hit the Sacramento Kings 11.5. They covered it. 10.5 against OKC. They covered it. Make sense of what's going on in this Golden State Warriors game for me. Please help me understand the situation. These guys are they just inconsistent at best? Like, are they in playoff form? Are they starting to get to playoff form? Where do they rank in this thing? Help us go.
Man, I'm not trusting the Warriors. They look early, they looked good earlier, like for us a couple weeks ago, but now, they do play good on the road. But far as at home, they just can't seem to get victories. I mean, they have a negative point differential at home, so Memphis, I don't know. I didn't come to a side, but I'm really strongly taking the 10. What is it now? 10 or 11?
11.5. 11
Yeah, 11.5. I'm really, really strongly considering taking it simply because it's this trend I believe I mentioned to you before is that when these teams play the next game, they tend to not cover that spread. And it's happened four games in a row. Now, it was 10-19 on March 6th. That's where it was, 10-19 against the spread. Since then, it's now 10-22. So those four teams that just played the Knicks have all not covered that spread that next game. Now, can I trust Memphis to do it, though, with a G League roster? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's where I got hesitant at. If I'm watching this game and it's live and it gets maybe to 13, 15, close to maybe 18, 20, then I'll take it for the most part. But 11, Warriors can do that just because they've been losing and they may want to, get some practice with a G League team, like I mentioned, and just try out some plays, figure some things out. That I tend to think like that if I was a coach. I want to try out some things versus this team, just because I know they're not really competitive with the roster that they have. So other than that, Mike, I pass. I believe I got enough action, locked in. I got some good spots. So I didn't want to dive in here and lose and be mad at myself for trying to dive into this game, knowing that I didn't have a strong advantage,
I was just talking to a buddy the other night, and he was asking me about this game, and he's like, "Shit, I just lost on it." And he's like, "You didn't really have an opinion for me," and I was like, "Dude, I gave you 6 plays that I was involved with. This fucking game didn't even make the radar. Where'd you come up with this one?" And so it happens. I get it, but you're right. When we got action elsewhere, the one thing I will say though is, as much as the inconsistency lies with the Golden State Warriors right now, what they do at home when both teams have rest and their opponent just covered the spread and they're off a spread loss, they end up winning against the spread. They're 26-3 in those spots. So opponents got the spread win. They just came off the spread loss and they're at home hosting. They are 26-3 against the spread, and they're covering the number by 10 points, but that's kind of based on a spread around 8. So we're splitting that margin. We're shrinking that margin. And you're right. I think the best way to attack this thing is look at this thing live. So let's go on. We've got 2 games left in the NBA slate, and then you guys are up and out of here. We'll put a bow on the show and get everybody rocking and rolling. The Philadelphia 76ers, my boys, playing them Phoenix Suns on the road in Phoenix. And we got an interesting spot here as well. This number opened at 8.5. Depending on the book, there's about a point movement, some spots. 63% of the bets, 42% of the cash on the over. I'm sorry, on the 76ers. So 8.5 to 9.5, 63% of the bets and 42% of the cash on the Sixers. The over, though, has got 67% of the bets. We don't have a ton of visibility in the cash, but we do see that this number has moved to 222s, 223s out there at minus 110s on DraftKings. And I'm excited about this one, LJ, because you and I, we have synchronized like Girl Scouts at a sleepover. We are on the same page. So talk to us about the total. How'd you get there with this one? And then I will check the box with you.
Yeah, all on the total under. Both teams, Suns 10-4 to the under last 14, 12-3 to the under in their last 15 at home. Sixers 8-3 to the under in their last 11. So strong under right here. Sixers missing a lot of offensive power, so it's all about Maxey. And of course, I'm on his prop, Maxey, over 28.5 points, minus 126. He's had 30 plus points 5 out of his last 7 games. And not to mention, Phoenix is allowing the last 5 guards to average 30 points. That's 4th most in the NBA. So they have trouble to fit in that position. So I believe Maxey does get his points. But as far as winning the game, I can't trust it. They don't have enough. I believe the Suns do win the game. And Philly is real vulnerable in the paint. They're missing Embiid, missing a couple pieces, so they have to rely on what's his name, Paul Reed, I think. So yeah, not too much in the paint for me. So Nurkic over 10.5 rebounds, -110. The Sixers are allowing the power forward / center position to average 13 rebounds in their last 5 games. And
Wow.
Nurkic has 12 rebounds, 5 out of his last 8 games. So he should dominate the boards, get rebounds. He probably cashed that in the first half for the most part, just because I believe Philly will be missing a lot of shots. And I believe it's just Maxey. I mean, I don't think they can score any other way. I don't know what the Tobias Harris situation is. I believe he was questionable. I don't know if he's been confirmed, but I just think the Suns, coming home comfortable, and the way that they lost versus the Bucks on national TV, you know me. I love taking teams that got embarrassed on national TV to bounce back in their next game. So, Suns for sure. I didn't take it though. I'd rather just take the under just because I believe it's been trending at home for them, and I just don't think 76ers can score enough. So, under 223, and I'm on Maxey's 28 points and Nurkic over 10.5 rebounds.
Like it. So as far as the injuries are concerned, yeah, we still have questionable status. The 10 p.m. start, so we expect this probably won't give us an update for at least another hour. Check those numbers if you're looking for a side, but I'm with you. I love the under. I think it's a great under spot. A lot of the same numbers, a lot of the same reasons that you kind of just talked about it. The only other spot that I was looking at, and I don't remember if this came up on the sesh the other day or not, but the Grayson Allen three-pointer spot to me had some allure for me. When you look at kind of the situation and how things are, there's a lot of guys that can shoot the three ball. We know Devin Booker, we know Kevin Durant are guys that can go get it done, but when they get D'd up on it and they go to flip it out to somebody else, that somebody else happens to be Grayson Allen, and he got this thing done in like the first 2 minutes of the second quarter of the last game. So we do find if they are able to match up on this guy that he's capable. Now, it's a little juicy, so it prevented me from, officially pulling the trigger on it here. Let me just line shop it again real quick. I mean, -132s, but it has moved up now, -150s and -168s as well. FanDuel's got -132 and Caesars has -135. So if you're interested in the prop there, LJ's giving you two great ones. If you're looking for the same game parlay angle out there, Grayson Allen might be the guy to consider as well. And LJ, love the breakdown. Let's move on. The last game of the night here. We've got ourselves another 10 p.m. start. Interesting battle here between the LA Clippers going on the road to the Portland Trailblazers. And we've got a number that opened at 11.5. There's 12s and 12.5s. 53% of the bets and 67% of the cash say the Clippers bust these boys up. The totals moved up as well from 215 to 217. However, 44% of the bets and 98% of the cash are on this under, and yet it has moved 2 points. So all the money's coming in on the under, and everybody thinks the Clippers bust these guys up. Generally, that correlates for me enough, but it's a big number as well. Tell me about this game. Do you have any thoughts on the side of the total or props? Let's go.
No, I was gonna wait until later to see how my money's looking to see if I could dive into this game. It's the last game, so I'm not really in a hurry to do anything in this one. But I did have Paul George steals as Zubac's block circle, just because Portland allows the most steals and blocks in the NBA. So they're struggling offensively with all the injuries that they have. So a lot of players are in, positions that they're not used to. And, of course, the Clippers are a better team, but, they've been winning, losing. So you really can't trust them, for the most part, coming off a bad loss. I think it was against the Hawks last time I seen them play. So I just have to see them, in cohesiveness for the most part for me to even try to, look at them. I truly believe that, it's too much inconsistency with the Clippers for me to even try to, see anything to track. But like I say, defensive-wise, I'm just looking at George and Zubac. But other than that, I stayed off the game because I'm not interested in betting Portland for the most part. And it's versus the West, so they're very horrible. They have a horrible record versus the West. But I don't know if the Clippers can cover that points. Like Portland's team total, that may be a better look simply because they have hit that team total. Well, they hit that team to 8-3 to their team total in their last 11 games. So that may be the sharper look, Portland's team total over, because if the Clippers are going to win, they're probably going to have to score as well, because Portland is 7-4 to the over their last 11 as well. So I will lean over, team total over for Portland. But other than that, I don't have anything right now for that game.
Yeah, Kelsey says team total over for the Clippers, question mark there. I was going to pull the trigger on that. I'm not a big team total guy, as you guys well know from the show here, but I thought about that. The problem is the number's sitting at 112.5, and they haven't gone over that number too much as of late. Recent success tells them, that they're just not quite there. But then you look at the number. Here's a good one for you. We just talked about that Golden State spot. What happens when their opponent won and they're off the spread loss there at home? How about this one? Road team, this is NBA wide. Road teams off a home loss, if their opponent just covered the spread, are 15-0 against the spread, and they're covering by a margin of almost 12.5 points in those spots. So it's a
Boy,
big
say
number.
that again, Mike. Say that again.
Road teams off a home loss, if their
Okay.
opponent's off a spread win. So opponent won against the spread, you're on the road after your first game on the road after the loss at home.
They don't have to be a favorite. It's just the road.
Just a road, right?
Got it.
The line's got to be shorter than plus 11. So they do have. I guess they do have to be a favorite in that case, right? But you would expect. So if the opponent's off the spread win and the line's shorter than plus 11, so it's a big number. So you're laying the big number in that spot. What that tells you is that the big number comes through. So spread win for the opponent. You just came off the home loss outright, and it's a big number. You go out there and you get that big number and you eat. So despite these big numbers, maybe that's a lot of reason why we see these big numbers across the NBA card. It's enough. We got enough other action rolling on tonight. I see Leonard says Gremlin's taking the lead after a rough start. It's enough for me to slow down and sit tight and see what happens as we evolve through the evening, LJ. But just a terrific job as always, my guy. You came in, props, sides, totals, everything. We love to hear the trends, the analysis. You do your homework, and I thank you for that because I know it's a lot of work and it's not easy to cram it all in there inside of a 30, 45-minute window. So much respect and appreciation, and I look forward to having a cocktail with you down there in San Antonio. I'll be down there tomorrow, but tell them what you got going on, where they can find you, and everything else going on in the world of LJ from Goat Town, as you've earned that nickname here from Last Call.
Oh, appreciate you, man. Hey, man, I'm just getting ready for Palooza 3. Heading down to Southtown Friday morning. I'm going to do Jimmy's show live at the bar. So, yeah, looking forward to meeting all y'all, man. Chopping it up, like you say, having cocktails, blowing a couple trees, all that. It's going to be a good time. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I'm getting ready to do. And like I said, Friday night is going to be good because me and Jay Peasy have a little show that we're going to put on for the chat, and everybody in Southtown. So y'all make sure y'all are there. I believe they're going to the poker team right before, and then once that's over, everybody goes back to the bar. And me and JP's are gonna put on the show for the guys. Like I said, I have a new song for the chat. So I'm anxious to debut it for y'all, so y'all can hear it. We have a good time, man. Have a good time down there. So other than that, Mike, find me on Post Sports, all the shows. Love chopping it with you on Wednesdays. Chopping it up with Dutch and Cab on Mondays. So anytime y'all looking for me to come on and give my expertise in NBA, man, I'm always down to do it. Like you said, it's hard work, but hey, when you're doing something you love to do, don't feel like work. You know what I'm saying? It's just what you do. And capping these games is what we do. So till this weekend, Mike, I'm gonna see you down there. So man, y'all have a good time. Enjoy y'all weekend, and let's cash.
Shout out my guy, LJ from H-Town. You guys know the deal here. He puts the work in and gets you guys paid. So go out there. Make sure you follow him on X if you haven't done so already. And again, shout out to everybody rocking with us tonight, guys. Hit that thumbs up. Thus far here, we've been kicking ass and taking names, and we're trying to do some more of that business here. Leonard was a little premature there talking about Grambling taking the lead because Montana, as I look at this thing, is up 38-31. But it's all good, guys. Let's have a ton of fun. Get that cash. Fill them brackets out. Go out there to Pub Sports Radio. Two $50 entries. They got the confidence pool out there, a point-based system awarded, or I should say an allotment of points based on the teams you're going to pick throughout your brackets. And then, of course, the traditional bracket as well. Matty Ice, the former winner last season. Go out there and see if you can't take down Matty Ice as well. We're going to be live down in the studio this weekend. It's going to be a ton of fun. In the meantime, though, guys, good luck with your bets. Get that cash. Chris Mack, Daniel Kapskinen, Leonard Porsche, Kelsey in the house there. Old E, Dan Kelly, our guy. The Trooper Saturated makes it happen there. Gave us some great numbers tonight. And, of course, our guy T holding it down on the ones and twos. Kenny Wood up in the house. Debo Hype, Chris Mack, Juggler 23, Ricky Bobby, the whole crew tonight, Fletcher Berry, Marcus McCarthy, breaking my balls, but I love it. Razor Sharp Picks. Guys are great, man. Nasty Nate, good luck with your Celtics tonight. And I'll see everybody live. No show for me tomorrow. But if you haven't followed Pub Sports Radio, now is the time, both on X and on YouTube. We're going to have tons of shows popping off every time we go live, whether they be pop-up shows, live betcast, just some debauchery around the bar in the studio. You will be notified when we flip that switch and go live. So make sure you're a part of what we're growing here with Pub Sports Radio. I'll see you guys next time. Boots on the ground in San Antonio. Until then, stay potting, baby. Get that cash.